Good afternoon. It's wonderful to welcome you here. Hopefully you are all enjoying the beginning of a wonderful journey that we're all going to be taking together. 25 years ago, I was sitting in a chair just like you. I was a freshman at the University of Chicago. Going to Chicago, I thought I was going to study economics like a good Chicago soldier. And if you would have asked me then whether I would be standing here today as a business school dean, I would have had no inkling of that idea. It would have never occurred to me that that would be a part of my portfolio. Now, 25 years ago, the economy was actually quite similar to what it is today in a couple of different ways. It was a very distressed economy. Shortly after I arrived at Chicago, we experienced Black Monday. And it was a time in which people really worried about whether or not the American economy was going to continue to be a powerhouse in the global system. Now, we know that shortly thereafter, we went on a period of sustained economic growth that eclipsed the longest period of sustained economic growth earlier in the 20th century. And we prospered. But there were a couple of things that actually really struck me when I was thinking about you today and me back then. And there are a couple of things that I want you to think about over the course of this class and over the course of your time here. The first thing is that one of the things that really took me on a much more circuitous route than I thought was that as I sat there in these economics courses and thought about America's role in the global economy, it struck me that I couldn't understand America's role in the global economy unless I understood something about the globe. And pretty soon, I found myself divested from all of my social sciences courses, studying intensive Chinese, living in Taiwan, majoring in Chinese literature, and reading all kinds of arcane Tang Dynasty poetry. But it seemed like the right thing to do because I needed a deep understanding of the world. Now, I went on to get a PhD in sociology and actually lived in Shanghai when I was writing my dissertation, and the world kind of opened up in a way that I might have imagined. It might have looked like a great bet back then to immerse yourself in the study of Chinese literature or Chinese language and culture. But to me, it was really just the following of a passion that was tied to something that had to do with the global economy and something that had to do with how the world was evolving. So the first thing that I would say to you is think about the world that we live in. Think about how the world is changing. Think about the systems that are evolving and how interconnected we all are, and make use of your time here to capitalize on that. Don't just capitalize on it for utilitarian reasons. Find the thing that you're passionate about, but find it and capitalize on it, because the university period, this time in your life, you will never have this again. You will never have this 4-year period in which you can just sit back and think about who do I want to be and what kinds of skills do I want to have. And that brings me to the second thing that I want you to think about in terms of the context that you're embedded in, and that is your university. This place is your home for the next 4 years, and it is the resource toolbox that will allow you to find who you want to be. Leverage it, especially those of you who have come straight into the business school. I know some of you have transferred in from other schools, but those of you who are 18 years old and have come to the business school, I exhort you, please step outside of this for a while. Get your skills, develop the functional knowledge that you want to retain and go forward with in a career, but use the university. Go out and find those courses in Chinese language and literature, or international politics, or music, or math, or chemistry, or whatever it is that is your other passion, because I promise you that people in the global job market today, the recruiters of the world, they get lots of resumes of people who have triple majored in things that are all alike, and they get very few with people who have functional knowledge but also have deep reservoirs of things that make them interesting. And that brings me to the third piece. Think a lot about yourself, not in a narcissistic way, but in a way that actually really allows you to have a deep period of introspection on who you are, who you want to be. I want you to have fun while you're here, but push yourself, please. You will be kicking yourself 4 years from now if you come out and had a lot of great, wonderful times here but didn't learn very much. Your college education is a time for you to learn as much as you can across as many different fields or as few different fields as you want. But use that time effectively. I cannot tell you how often it is now as a dean when I'm out talking to recruiters and trying to get them to come visit us and hire our students. They tell stories, not just of our students, but of people in general, of people who are just unprepared. And that is part of what this class is about. Is about starting from day one, having you think about what it means to be a professional, and what it means to be in the business world. And that sort of leads me to the final point that I'd like to make. Being a leader in the business world is a very weighty responsibility. There is a tremendous amount of opportunity out there, and we hope you all go forth and prosper and have a wonderful life. But remember that corporations are the most powerful institutions in the world, perhaps besides nation states. Some of them are more powerful than some nation states. And being an officer or being an individual that is employed in those is a tremendous responsibility. And so we want you to think very deeply about the ethical commitment you're making. And we want to impress upon you just how important it is, because it's the values that we hold, and we hope that it's the values you share with us. So without further ado, I'd like to turn the stage back over to our Associate Dean, or to the next speaker. I want you to have a wonderful semester. I'm going to be here on this journey with you. I'm going to be actually teaching one of the sections, and I'm looking forward to it. And have fun at it. Thank you.